Alright, we back here at it again. Class is in session. And basically today all I'm talking about is some of the things in general about what you can expect when you astral project. Alright? So if you've never personally experienced astral projection, I'm sure you might have a lot of curiosity about it, especially if you're on this channel. So since I've had a lot of people asking me questions about it, not only in my personal life, but on this channel, I figured I'd just give you a few things that you could look forward to once you do figure out how to leave your body, have that out-of-body experience. Alright, so if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can, and make sure to click the thumbs up on this video if you like more videos like this. Go ahead and subscribe, because I got plenty of videos, not only on the subject of astral projection coming, but anything that has to do with well-being in general, from health and wellness to the physical health to the mental health and the spiritual health, of course. Alright, so what can you expect when you get into the astral realms? Okay, so one of the most important things to remember is that obviously you're going to see worlds that you are not familiar with. So it might be pretty challenging for you if you are not used to experiencing, like, should I say, violent vibrations. I don't want to use the word violent to like scare you or anything, but anytime that you're on a different frequency, like obviously these different realms vibrate on different frequencies. You know, everything is energy and vibrations. So the reason why you're able to physically touch this realm is because it's at a low enough vibration for you to feel it, or at least have the illusion that you can feel it and see it and whatnot. But some things are at such a high vibration. For example, air is at such a high vibration, the molecules are vibrating so quickly that you can't even feel, well, you can feel it, but you can't see the air. So that being said, when you're transitioning to another realm, it's pretty common for you to experience some violent shaking or vibrations. So if you're laying down, you're entirely relaxed, and you're about to shift into another dimension, you're probably going to feel your frequency of your surroundings shift. So if you're laying in a bed, you might feel the bed start to violently shake, like it's pretty cool. It can be kind of startling if you're first getting started in it though, but you just gotta relax. The most important thing to do is to relax and trust yourself. You gotta have faith more than anything, because you gotta be blind. Like, you gotta have blind faith, seriously, because you have no idea what you're gonna experience on the other side. That's the whole point why astral projection and astral travel and whatnot is so important, because it's gonna enlighten you on some stuff that you never even knew existed. And it's going to be aspects of yourself that you didn't know existed. And that's what's so powerful about it. That's why people have what's called that ego death, because people recognize, oh man, like, I just experienced something in the astral plane. I didn't even know that existed. There's probably a heck of a lot of stuff in this omniverse that I don't know about. And that's when you have that ego death, because you realize you really don't know anything. No matter how intelligent you think you are down here, it ain't nothing compared to your highest intelligence. So yeah, that's just one thing, is feeling those vibrations. Another thing that you can expect, you're probably going to experience parallel universes. There's a heck of a lot of different worlds to go to. There's a heck of a lot of different beings to encounter. But you'll definitely be able to experience those parallel universes that you've heard about. So you'll probably come across a different aspect of your reality that is somewhat similar to this, but it might be, say, more feminine. So I'll give you an example. So this one time I get up out of my body. I'm just laying in bed and I roll over and I was like half asleep, and I'm like, okay, I think I'll astral project. So I just sat up out of my body. Once you get familiar with how your astral body works, you can pop out of it at any time, really, as long as you're at a certain brainwave state. But when I sat up out of my body, I was still in the same room. Sometimes when I sit up out of my body, I'm in a totally different environment. But I'm talking about a parallel universe here. So in this parallel universe, I actually lived in the same house, but the house had a different type of setup. So the kitchen was in a different location, and certain doorways were, or aka portals, they were in different locations on the house. But for the most part, the house was still the same. Now, what I was experiencing is called the yin realm, because you have the yin and you have the yang. The yin is the feminine version, the yang is the masculine version. we're living in the yang realm right now. You're watching this video in the yang realm. So what I did is I went to the feminine world, the yin version of this world. So in that world, everything's a lot more feminine. So there's a lot more details and stuff. There's a lot more, well, creative energy. So people have a lot more money. People have a lot more creativity. People have a lot more abilities, or at least they have awareness of more abilities. So, for example, in that world, my father, he is a scientist, right? So he's got a lot more of that creative energy that he doesn't have here because it's a feminine realm. He's got more of his creativity on the side of being able to do experiments and come up with ideas and hypotheses of what could potentially happen. Okay, but in this world, the masculine world, he's doing a lot more masculine job. He's being more mechanical and he's doing more physical things. He's working in labor that he doesn't have the requirement to be so creative. Okay, so that's just one example. But in the feminine realm, it's a heck of a lot more common for people to have stuff, because you got to think about what feminine energy really means. It's a lot more common to see people who have a higher fashion sense. So people dress a lot better in the feminine realm from what I've experienced. So people around here might not care too much. People are creative, but if they're creative here, the feminine energy is the creative energy. The creative energy is the feminine energy. So if they're more feminine there, they're right-brained, the fashion sense is out of this world. So the way the fashion designers design clothes and shoes and stuff there, it's levels higher than around here. Like, okay, these shoes and clothes are cool and all, but in that world, it's crazy. Like, my sneaker collection in that world is insane. But anyways, some other things that you could potentially experience when you astral project is that a moment when you're seeing these worlds that are at such different frequencies where you might see them in either different colors or in different densities. So I don't know if you've ever seen those cartoon shows, but I'm sure you've seen some cartoon where you've seen the ones that are like bulgy and three-dimensional, say like Jimmy Neutron, for example, and then you've seen the flat or the, say, two-dimensional version of the world, which would be like Fairly Odd Parents with Timmy Turner. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen the Timmy Power Hour, but they had them, like, they split the screen, and on one side of the screen they had the 3D, the other side they had the 2D, and they were able to jump through the two different dimensions saying, I'm flat and I'm bulgy, I'm flat and I'm bulgy. I remember Cosmo saying that specifically. But that is a real thing. So I've seen the two-dimensional realms where there are beings who are more flat, and it's kind of like drawings. They look like sketches. But I didn't stay there. That was a world that I saw. Like, I basically flew over it while I was bouncing through different dimensions, basically while my higher self was deciding where I wanted to go, or maybe it was my lower self deciding. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But while I was bouncing through those different dimensions, deciding where I wanted to land, aka materialize, I was at such a light weight, I was able to see all these different worlds in an instance. So I remember seeing the not so three-dimensional world and what I would call the two-dimensional world. So you can actually see realities that are at an even higher frequency, that in which you wouldn't be able to see so much color. So maybe in another dimension, for another dimension that I've seen, I've been in a world where everything was bluish purplish. So everybody's colors and stuff, like the colors around here, it didn't look like this. Everything was at such a higher vibration that everything seemed to be more neon colored. And it was kind of like everything glows in the dark. I've seen, countless realms and stuff. I've heard of dimensions that even have like fractals of the different reflections of you and stuff, like the different mirror realms and stuff. I think I need to go and do a video specifically about the very specific individual experiences that I've had. So leave me a comment if you want a specific kind of video. Maybe it's just a different kind of dimension that you heard of. I'm sure I've potentially experienced it. So just leave me a comment and ask me if I've experienced them. And if I haven't, heck, I could just astral project and probably come with a video for you pretty soon. Alright, so just one more thing. Another thing that you could potentially experience is going through what I call trials. I find that a lot of the time, whenever I leave my body and I astral project, I come across these beings who are basically like my team. I don't know if you've ever seen The Matrix, but if you've seen that movie, The Matrix, they are basically floating or flying in a spaceship. And in this spaceship, there's like a team of people who all have the same agenda, or like they're all working together to play a certain role down here in the Matrix, because this is the Matrix, and that's the higher world or whatever. So basically, there's a projection of themselves that's living in this reality, and that's really what's going on here. That movie is the truth. So if you haven't checked that movie out, there's a lot of truth in it. It's a lot to explain, but I remember, I mean, many times. A lot of the time when I leave my body, they put me through these trials and stuff. So basically, they turn me into some kind of agent, and they make me do challenges and stuff. So they'll naturally require me to be as quick thinking as possible, as creative as possible. They'll give me trials where, I mean, sometimes, especially when I was first doing them, sometimes I would fail. And I guess that's the reason why they would give me these challenges, in order to grow me, so that down here I'm more able to easily maneuver throughout this reality. But lately I haven't been failing any, because I've been doing this for a consistent amount of time now. So usually when they give me a challenge, I knock it out the first time. But it comes with experience. So now I'll just give you an example of some of the challenges they've given me. So sometimes they'll basically give me a reality where there's somebody chasing me. So I remember this one time, there were these guys who were basically like the prison gatekeepers, and they were trying to keep me imprisoned, and I had to find a way to escape the building. So I had to figure out the codes to the gates. I had to figure out how to like look around the corner and wait until the proper time to make a move, in order for people to not see me and notice me. And it's kind of like those movies where you see those secret agents or those spies. Basically, it was kind of like that. And they send me through a lot of those. And whenever I do get out, it's basically like I prestige to another level. And that's kind of like the easiest way for me to give examples would be from another reality in this matrix. So it would be to give you examples of movies and video games and television shows and stuff. That's why a lot of the time when I'm giving you these examples of the stuff that I experience in the astral realm, I'm usually going to give examples about something that is more relatable, like a television show or a video game or a movie. So just keep that in mind. So with all these videos I got coming, I'll probably give a lot of examples like those. But that's the reason why. I don't want to make this video too long, but those are just a few things that you can expect once you get into the astral plane. Alright? Till next time, guys. Have a great one.